JP on the beat.
Yeah. That's another banging nephew.
What?
KADAYSHA, Don't even act like that. Come here, baby.
Anomaly record. What you want to say? So what's up?
Baby girl, let me make this plain and simple. Like a pimple about to bust, I'm elevated under the skin. Within my chest cavity, erratically was usual activity. Can act somewhat timidly, in the presence of such greatness. Authentic non-fakeness with a smile that could make this place we live a better place. With a humble dwelling and an environment with all the basics to stabilize and keep us tight. When I'm wrong and you right, and all the petty things that often make us fight, they go away. Just know I'm always here to stay, because you gave me all of you, I'ma give you all of me.
Never felt this way before. Never felt this way before.
From puppy love to a full-grown pit bull, so pitiful how political love could be. It's a miracle that the maturation process has got blessed into individuals that seek the spiritual. A covenant not just between you and me, but between you, me, and the Almighty. A triangle offense better than the best of ever. Chicago Bulls in the East, Lakers in the West. No, I'm not perfect. I promise it'd be worth it. Like the word lit, them kids be using in they verbiage, but I prefer lit when the content has the original intent of sparking flames so intense that it demonstrates I do is not just a thing to say. Boo boo, I love you for real. Proverbs 18 and 22 says that God favors me from the very moment that I found you.
Yeah, man, relationship. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Through the ups and downs, I still love you.
Never felt this way before. Never felt this way before.
It ain't easy though. The struggle is real.
It's not supposed to be easy. Through the tough times, that's how we grow tighter.
I love you too.
Anomaly records.
What it do? What it do? Hey, you are back with Rich in the Spirit Ministries, man. That was my boy O.N.E. And I want to say that was Lady K on the song doing the hook with All of Me. Reason why I played this song is because I like it for one thing, but the other reason is because this show is going to be a little different today. It's about marriage and how we have overcome marriage with God. So this is how we then came from the world with being married to having God at the head of our life, being marriage. So let's go ahead, let's get it started. I'm gonna pop on my guests, O.N.E. and Lady K, right there, and then I'm also gonna pop on my beautiful wife. How everybody doing?
We good, man. Blessed, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. So,
Richardson, all right.
yes. Feeling good, feeling great.
Feeling better than what I was.
Hey.
Me too.
So, this show is basically about marriage. A lot of us, we known each other both while we was in the world, whatever, but we also know each other now. So basically, we coming together to show or to let people know how it is and how God has blessed our marriages. Because like I always say, our testimony might be the only testimony that somebody read. So with that being said, we're going to start off with Lady K and O.N.E. about basically how they met. You know, we're just going to start from the beginning, like how y'all met. First off, tell them how long you been married, and then how y'all met.
How long we been married?
I know it's 24 years, but I'm gonna let you. I'll let you.
Just making sure.
I talk too much.
We was going to the same school, but we like really met in church actually, in the youth program. So you know, he thought I was cute and stuff. So yeah.
That wasn't it. that wasn't it.
I was digging him.
Tell the story, right? So she said, all right, in the youth department, St. John Missionary Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take youth trips, and we were going to Houston for a convention down there. And back then, I was probably 145 pounds soaking wet. But she liked my physique. Well, I didn't have no physique then. So look, I was rocking the jersey, and so she was liking my arms, how they looked in the jersey. So she come, feeling, touching up on me and whatnot.
I touched you.
And so look, that
nice.
was the beginning.
That was the beginning. So I thought you was cute. I did not touch you. Don't make me look like I was like.
But you know that you was keeping me before I was keeping you, though, right?
I said, I thought you was cute, but now we getting to touching and all that.
No, I'm just saying that's what it was, though.
I touched you.
You did. You was like you didn't do that.
Oh, we're gonna have one of them type of stories. Okay.
That's the only reason why I work out now, is because that's what you said.
And what happened after that? We started talking.
Kind of, not really, not so much after that. That's kind of where we, I guess, got to know each other, became familiar with who we were. But we was both going to Mac Junior High at the time, and she was a grade above me. So you was what, 9th grade? You was probably 8th grade. I was probably 7th grade at that point.
Yeah, when we first met. Yeah.
And then the next year we kind of started talking, but see, she was driving on a permit. So she was 15, so that's probably about what, 9th going into 10th?
Yeah. Because
you was still you was already Ike.
I was at Ike.
So you was in 10th grade and I was in 9th grade. And so, she was mobile. I wasn't. I mean, and so we just kind of started talking from then. When the first time we hooked up, it only lasted for like 2 weeks, then we broke up. And then we got back together.
I actually had a boyfriend at Ike, and then I was talking to him at Mac. Yeah, that's how that happened. Hey, East Side, West Side. I had like a 2-for-1 thing going on.
She know what we breathe. She know we breathe at.
But yeah, that's kind of like how we went, and then
give me 2 seconds.
We started dating, talking and dating, and then from then that we've been together from then.
That's what's up.
So forget high schools, y'all junior high. So y'all been on each other since junior high.
Yeah, since junior high we known each other, because we ended up at the same prom together, except for he went to prom with somebody else and I went to prom with somebody else, and then we've been dating. Yeah. Well, we've known each other, but been dating since basically high school, but we've known each other for the longest, yeah. Okay. And then he actually proposed to me he ended up graduating a year early. So at high school prom, he proposed to me.
At the MacArthur prom. So we had 2 proms that year, Ike and MacArthur. So all of her homegirls were still at Mac, because that's where she started from.
Yeah.
So that's when I popped the question. So a lot of the pictures that you'll see where I'm in a brown,
a tan.
Like a tan suit, I had the ring in my pocket then, because we actually went and took pictures prior to.
And I didn't know that he had it, yeah.
And look, that next year, somebody monkey see, monkey do. Somebody try to come take our stilo and try to do the same thing we did after that. I wanted to still together.
Yeah.
Because actually, we were just talking to a guy named Andre that went to school and he was there, and like this was just maybe a month or two ago. He still remember that.
He cleared all my friends knew he cleared the floor. The DJ called me out there, and at first I didn't go because I don't know why you calling me out there to the dance floor. And one of my friends, he put me out there, and he got down on one knee and did it in front of the whole high school.
That was bold.
He thought he was Casanova.
Hey, I thought I was Casanova. that picture that you showed on the video, the thumbnail, I want to say one of those pictures was that night that was on there, if I remember correctly.
So fast forward, well, to us, I'm gonna let her talk because I'm always talking. She gonna embarrass the truth, embellish the truth, you know. But I'm here to stop it
tonight. Mm-hmm.
That's subjective.
Amen to that, bro. That's subjective. I was stalked for 6 whole months. I ain't know nothing about a travail, wasn't paying attention to a travail. I went to the VFW with Pumpkin one day. And she was like, Kita, this dude want to dance with you. I'm like, I ain't here to be entertaining no guys. I'm just trying to get a I had 3 kids at that time already. I was just trying to relax from children. I was not worried about no man, no nothing. I had on a pair of jeans and a sweater and some Jordans. I looked like a homegirl. I was not interested in no dude. I was like, I said, tell him no. And I went on to mind my business. I must have felt somebody brush up against me on the dance floor, and it was him apparently. I was like, what in the world is this? We just walking up on folks and dancing. I was like, okay. Still ain't paid Travell no attention. Come to find out, we had a million mutual friends. Pumpkin, Bobby, Ronnie. It was a whole bunch of it. I was like, oh my gosh. I seen him again. We was at, where was we at? The Dewdrop. Is that the name of that place? Mm-hmm. And he had on some Michael Jackson Jordans. And I had just bought the kids some 6-ring Jordans. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, let me see that shoe. I said, my baby's going to love these. He claimed to this day I wasn't worried about his shoes. I was peeping him out. No, sir.
That was the excuse. That was the excuse. I know. Hey, Travell, I know.
I took a picture of those shoes.
Jersey. That was the excuse.
Oh,
no, it was not. I promise you it wasn't. But he found out that I held card parties at my house. I don't know who Big Mouth told him that I was having parties at my house, but he asked to be invited. I was like, all right, whatever, I guess. Didn't hear from him. Come find out somebody decided they wanted to drive their date home intoxicated and got a DUI. I was like, okay, well, cool, because I wasn't interested anyway. He must have called me one day, y'all, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, you don't remember me? And I'm like, no, who are you? He was like, the guy from the bar with the Jordans. I was like, oh. I said, oh, now you decide to call? I said, you've been missing the action for about a month, sir. I was like, where they do that at? Long story short.
I was locked up.
They didn't let you out.
Not at all, sis. Not at all. Me and Pumpkin end up going out again one night to the bar, karaoke. Y'all, this man sang to me. What? It was the first and the last day that whoever he was dating dated him again. He was hooked, synced, and done with. But yeah. That's how we met. Wow. And he's been mine 14 years
something like that.
Together and 11 years married.
Wow.
So
what
is the
song was
it was Genuine Differences. That is our song.
Yeah, that's what I used to always sing at karaoke. That was the karaoke song right there. Me and Bobby. Me and KD. So we all found each other basically in the world. And we all been through trials and tribulations because
yes.
of the world, just because we just thought because we was in the world, you know. So my thing is like, what's the difference between being married in the world and married with God at the head of your marriage?
Great question. I would say understanding the positioning, right? So when we got married, so we met in the church, you know, we met in the youth. And so it wasn't like we were in the world. And here's why, because we knew of God, right? We went to church, we knew of God, but we ain't had no relationship with him, right? And so we were just kind of playing the role, show up, you know, do whatever at church, and then you go on about your business. But we would still had a carnal mentality. And so when we got married, we kind of still had that same mentality. And it wasn't until later on in marriage where we understood covenant. And that's what marriage is. It's a covenant. And so if we don't understand the basis of how that whole covenant works, then the marriage is doomed to fail, because we using everything, we basing everything off of feelings. So when it comes to covenant, now this is something that it's a choice now, right? I choose to love you an agape type love, not a phileo or any other type of intimate love. Like, that's there, but that can't be the main thing, right? So regardless of what you do, there's nothing you could do to keep me from loving you, which is the example that, you know, God sends, and through Christ and us being the bride, his church. And so until I got that visual, I didn't really understand the dynamics of how marriage was supposed to work.
He showed it.
Since you want to interject, go ahead, talk this. So you know,
He showed
so
it.
but you know,
I think I'll do a little bit more than you. I didn't know everything, but you know, as females, sometimes we're just a lot more mature than guys. Like, sometimes we take stuff a little bit more seriously than a man does. So I would say that, you know, it wasn't that I was just church, because like he said, you know, you grow up in the church, you know, Sunday you go to church, you know, you have Bible study on Wednesday, Thursday choir practice, you know, it became a routine at that age for us. So we do, like, whatever we did, we know certain days we had to be in church, and that's what we did. So it was like, we knew church, but we really didn't have an understanding of church and marriage, so to say, you know. So, but I knew when I got married, it was something serious. It wasn't that, you know, yes, I did love my husband unconditionally, but I think just my understanding and my maturity at the time was a lot further than what his was.
But I still think it went down to feelings, though, right? It was, I'm in love, right? And not understanding that it's more than that, because you're not going to always feel like loving each other. So this is where the covenant bond comes in. Like, even though you upset me and my flesh says I shouldn't love you, I choose to, right? So I'm going to override how I feel based on what I know my responsibility is, right? And so you don't have that proper understanding, then, you know, the marriage, it'll blow in the wind. You know, I mean, 1 minute we good, the next minute we not. And so just kind of understanding how that's supposed to work, because I don't think a lot of people get necessarily counseled, or they understand what marriage consists of before they get into it.
True.
And so, like, I feel like we head over heels for each other, right? And most of the time we just in lust, not in love.
There you go.
And so most of us was already fornicating, so we was already living in sexual sin, right? So sexual immorality, and then we basing our marriage on something that wasn't a good foundation to begin with. But we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody, and if someone try to break it down, ain't nobody trying to hear that right now.
Right.
We you know what I'm saying? We trying to, you know, we addressing our loins, right? Like, look, how I'm feeling, what I need, look, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And there's some discipline that gotta come with it. That if you don't understand it, man, the marriage, it could be a lot harder than what it has to be, even though marriage is not an easy thing.
Right.
That's true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah, well, for me, I can say for me and mine, it had to happen for this marriage to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like God had to come in here and do a wonderful work for this marriage to work. And I've seen how we was in the world, and to see how we are now, I am glad that because he was already there. We took his grace and we accepted his grace and his mercy. You know, because if it wasn't for us, because he was always there, if it wasn't for us, you know, grabbing it and be like, okay, this is what we need to do, then we would have still been the same two people running around, you know, doing whatever in the marriage that we wasn't supposed to do. So, to me, it was a must, and I feel like it got better because now we talk more, we communicate better, I mean,
Don't go to bed mad.
Yeah, we don't go to bed mad, you know, because
that's the big one.
we wake up happy, we go to bed happy. It's not like, you know, we mad when we wake up, we mad all during the day at each other, you know, want to fuss each other out, and then it's just a continuous cycle. But now this cycle that we are in now is the best cycle to be in, where you're just happy, and not saying that every day is glorious and every day is happy, but you know that it's going to be back, or you can pray about it, or you can sit down and talk about it, where the point was where we didn't. I go one way, she go the other way, and then hopefully one of us will calm down sooner or later, within a week or two, or something like that. Other than that, you know,
I bet you it had to been us, right? It had to be us, the one to calm down.
It is what it is.
He has the most calmness. Look, my kids told him all the time, y'all, I don't know how you deal with mommy. My kids said it all the time, and I to a certain extent, once I decided to get in my soft girl era, you know, that they trying to get into now, I don't see how he stayed around, because I'd have been like, deuces, I'm not dealing with your mouth. I'm not dealing with your attitude.
Yeah, but you know what? And you say that, and that's so true, because I be looking at my girls and I be like, dog, because I see myself in them. I'm like,
look, and she happy about it too.
I be like, you know,
she like,
they real feisty with it.
They're my girls.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I be seeing myself in them. I be like, okay, sis. But you know, like you said, I'm like, hey, I applaud them, because I know I'm a lot to deal with. I still, we have came far, but I'm still a lot to deal with. But like you said, like the arguments or disagreements are different. They're different now, you know, because now I'm like, I ain't gonna approach you the way I know I'm gonna say gutter, how I could approach you, because it just isn't right. But it's like almost like you said, now that you know, it's almost like, have y'all seen the Family Feud where she was like, Holy Spirit activate? It's kind of like it got activated in the marriage. So you know, things is different now because it's been activated. Like you said, it was there the whole time, but it wasn't activated. Now it's activated, so it's different now.
Yeah, I agree. Holy Spirit activate.
Holy Spirit. She was like, Holy Spirit activate. Hey, you have to get activated. Yes.
I think we also got to be mindful too, right? The more that we want to stay together, the more the enemy gonna try to find his way in there. And so at times where we have lapses, none of us are perfect, right?
Right.
Like say if you something strikes a nerve with you and you come at me, my job is to see it for what it is, right? I'm not looking at you in the flesh. I'm looking at whatever that is that you allowed in you that's trying to get in between us. Because if I respond the way that whatever is using you to get at me, then now we doing this and we both lose. And so when I'm weak, you got to be strong and vice versa. And so we got to understand that there's going to be times where we out of character, but if we know each other, then we got to know when them times are. Otherwise, instead of me compounding the issue, I got to be the one sometimes, or maybe you got to be the one to be like, look, you tripping. I'm not even going to deal with it right now. And then, clear their heads, come back and deal with it at a later time. But then that just comes with maturity, right?
But don't say that out loud now. Don't say
you got
tripping.
battles and you
Don't
got
say you
wars,
tripping.
right? Like, so we trying to win the war. I can't fight every battle. Right. Because you have me fighting all day, every other day. And so I look. And look, I don't think she thinks at times, and this maybe more so probably in the past than now, but she probably think I'm a pushover, right? I'm weak. But it's meekness, right? It's strength under control. And so I don't have to be rah with you. You know what I mean? To still be firm. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we think that emotionally we got to react a certain way in order for us to feel like we're the man. And I think that's where a lot of us men fall short. We feel like we got to lord over the female, right? And we don't. Our job is to love you like Christ loved the church, right? Which means he gave his life for the church. So look, that's what me and Travell got to do for you and Keita, right? But then it doesn't say for the woman to love the man like Christ loved the church. It said for her honor. See, where we need y'all is in honor. That ain't got nothing to do with feelings. You know what I'm saying? That's just respect. You honor us for the position that we are, right? So we are over you, but we are under God. But if you don't understand the structure, now it's all, well, she's got to be subservient. You know what I'm saying? She's got to be, what they say, submissive, right? And so we thinking, oh, well, that means she's our slave. Nah, that right. Then because it's actually say submit one to another. Yeah. In all reality. So it don't just say women, wives submit to your husbands, or your own husbands, but it do say submit one to another. So it's a team effort, but there's still structure because there can only be one head. A lot of times you have a married couple where the wife, like, she running the show, and that ain't gonna work. God ain't gonna sanction that to work because that ain't the structure that he laid. They might be trying to do it, but they're in error by doing that. You know what I mean? Well, she the breadwinner, she did, but still, she cannot be the head of the household. She can't. That's not a role. Now, it don't mean that she can't be effective. It don't mean that her ideas can't be honored and valued and used. She might be better at managing money than me, right? Well, and that's usually how it usually be. She handle the finances. You know what I'm saying? She might have a better business. Well, she'll handle the business. You know what I mean? I might, whatever I do, then that's what I'll do. But we know we got to know where we're strong at. And we can't feel like, well, if she does something better than me, then somehow I'm inadequate as a man. And so we got to check the ego, right? Check the pride. And if we don't understand in the confounds of how the marriage is supposed to be structured, we out of place. Just like we were talking about a couple podcasts ago about kids. Kids don't belong in between us. Kids belong inside of us. Well, what we will do is, because we think we're protecting the kids, we got dad on one side, mom on the other side. And then we create this gap. And now once the kid is gone, there's still a gap. Because for the longest, we've been, kids are running you, do something with you, and you say something to contradict me, or they'll run at me. And kids that do that, man, that's what they designed to do. We did it. Right. We know how to play the game. But then when they go on about their business, we left with the crumbles, right? Like crazy. Right. Because of what we allowed them to create. But that's on us though. And so, like I said, it just goes back to structure. And once you start to understand it, then marriage becomes fun. When you know how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, it's so fun. You start arguing over whose socks is who.
Well,
we got a sock problem here too.
Well, that's what you and the kids. That ain't so much. I keep my stuff separate. My clothes, I try to keep all my. When I wash my stuff, put my stuff up. I don't be trying to mix stuff.
I be trying to wear a shirt. If I don't feel like doing laundry, I just go to his side of the closet. Let me grab a shirt. Let me grab.
That's right.
That's how I be. I
just try to buy you your own stuff.
That's what I try to do too, but she still come and get my socks.
Y'all stuff just seem more comfortable for some reason. It
No,
really do.
Look, y'all lucky we can't be wearing y'all stuff.
No, well, I'm gonna leave that alone because nowadays
That's another problem.
That's another show.
That's another show. So I did have a question that when I was on somebody else's show, they asked me to ask on this show because I said I was going to do this show. And the question was, during the arguments, how do we resolve them as being now that we're in Christ? Like, how do arguments now different from arguments in the past?
Now, do you want the is the question how should we? Or
I mean,
because they don't always line up. Right?
Well, because she was saying, how, sometimes how she done seen a lot of arguments and a lot of disagreements lead to the person leaving, the house, period, divorces and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to know, how do we as Christians and us, period, because we've been married, you've been married 24 years, we've been married 11. How do we don't let it get that far to that level? But that was one of the questions that one of the lady asked.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, for me, it different because back then, I ain't care what you had to say. You gonna hear what I gotta say, and that's the way it's gonna be. And that was it. That was all. We'd take a shot, smoke a blunt, and we going about our day. But now I sit and I listen to what you have to say, and I take in consideration of the feelings that you're putting behind what you're telling me, your emotions. I listen more with my ears instead of with my mouth. And if we can't come to the agreement that we want to, I've now learned how to take it to God and ask God to give me the understanding of what He wants me to do when it comes to when my husband expresses what he is expressing. And if it's an heated argument, I'd be like, all right, babe, look, you know me, I don't want to argue. It's going to take up too much of our joy. And right now, this is what the devil wants us to do. So usually what we end up doing is praying. Either we're going to pray together or we're going to go our separate ways of praying. And then we're going to come back and talk about this. But that's how it differs for me. Because at first, I don't want to hear it. You're going to do what I say do. I know how to be submissive.
I like that too, because sometimes I would be listening for my rebuttal. That's what I use. Well, that's what I used to do a lot. Just listen. I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm not listening to what you're saying because I'm hearing it because I'm coming with A, B, C, and D. So it don't matter really what you're saying to me, because like you said, it's really irrelevant. And if I got something on my chest and you say one little, I'll take that little thing and we're gonna rock with that. But I mean, what I had to learn was everything is not going to be fixed right away.
Right.
It's not, because what I used to want is I'm gonna say what I would say, and we fixing this now. This is what we gonna do. I don't care what you say, like just like how you say, if I want it fixed, it's gonna get fixed. I don't care how you feel about it. And if you don't want to fix it, well, it's just gonna have to keep going because I'm not happy with that. So I had to learn that. But what he has learned, I'm gonna say what I think you learned, and then you could speak on it.
Look, I'm interested. I want to hear this.
What I think he has learned, he has really learned to deal, because I'm short tempered. So he knows even I am very, and y'all know it too. Y'all done seen me in action. I have come a long way with my temper. So I think what he has learned to handle me, that sometimes, even though I'm upset, he still has to let me say what I want to say, and then we can address the situation. So it's not that when things happen in your marriage, you're going to argue and then, okay, well, I want a divorce or I'm leaving, because we used to do that too. I mean, divorce, we leaving the house, and that's just what it was. It can't end like that.
Right.
Because like you said, you shouldn't go to bed angry and upset anyway. Even if y'all have to go pray separately, That's just what you have to do. But you can't, everything can't always be, well, I'm leaving it. Now, well, leaving it and being upset, because sometimes you do have to leave it, but like you said, go and pray about it. Pick it up the next day, pick it up the next hour, in a couple of minutes, whatever you have to do. That's how I learned to handle stuff. Now, I feel sometimes that, you know, we do have to compromise, because some stuff do have to be handled right then and there.
Yeah,
we got to get out of our feelings. You got to come out of it and handle it. So that's how I try to deal with stuff now.
I think you know, you got to look at the big picture, right? So what are they trying to accomplish? What's more important, the spat, or, you know, us coming together? You know what I mean? And not saying that everything's going to work out the way you want it to, but is it worth the fight, though? You know what I mean? Like, these are choices that we got to think about before we react with a fleshly response, right?
Right.
I would like to say that I approach an argument, and I'll just say an argument for lack of a better way of saying it. I don't argue. I go to the word. And what I mean by that is, what does the word say about whatever issue we're dealing with? Because if it becomes how I feel versus how you feel, then that leaves room for disagreement. And I used to think that it was okay, you know, the cliche, you know, well, we just gonna have to agree to disagree. And I realized, you know, talking to a pastor friend of mine, you know, he was like, that's not, you can't do that in a healthy marriage, because how can two walk together unless they agree? So you can't agree to disagree. You have to reach a point of agreement. And if I have a version, you have a version, the only true version is what the word says about whatever issue we're dealing with. So like you say, when you pray either separately or together, that's bringing the word in. And so every time there's a disagreement, to me, that's the only way for it. And once you start to have a spirit-filled marriage, and that's what your backbone is, like that's your go-to, then God's going to always lead you out of it, because he's not the author of confusion. So if he's in the midst and you allow him to be in it, then he's going to give you discernment. Okay, this is how I need y'all to move, right? And sometimes it may not be the way I want it to be, or it may not be the way she wanted to be, but that's the way that I need y'all to move right now. And I may give you the reason for it down the road, but I may not reveal it to you right now. I just need you to trust, have faith in what's going on. But to me, I use the word because it takes me out of it. I used to be real competitive when it comes to debating, because I'm really good at that.
He's good
I got the gift of gab. I can twist some things around to make it work in my favor, and go on about my business. And then I ran into my kids, especially Yanni, and she do it to me now, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, man, okay, you're right. I see your point. And so, but I, you know, just like she say with the kids, when you know they be having their attitudes that they get from her, right? That some of that clever rebuttalness they get from me, and I'm like, okay, because we can go back and forth all day long, and at the end of the day, what do we accomplish, right? So to me, look at the big picture. Is this really worth it? Because sometimes you look back, hindsight 2020, it's like that was such a little thing, and we just blow it out of proportion, right? And so one thing that we try to incorporate, and it's still a work in progress, is stay in the here and now. Leave the past in the past, because what oftentimes can happen is we will reach in the past to grab something to help us with the argument right now, when it has nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah. But
we can use excuses to say, well, I feel like this because of that. And one of the things I also learned, I went to a conference, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, Tony Evans Church. And one of the classes I took was on strongholds. And one of the things that I learned with strongholds is they're memorials, right? What they are, they're past traumas that we didn't deal with, that we allow to stay in our mental. And that affects our moods, that affects our decision making in the present and in the future. So if we don't address those issues, they're going to come back at some point or another, and they will keep us stagnated. And so whatever it is that, if you got to go to counseling, whatever it is you got to do to address it, you got to address it, because we will start holding other people accountable for how we feel about situations that they may or may not have anything to do with. So that's my take on it.
So as for me, I never argue at all because and the reason why I never argue because of my first marriage. So I never wanted to be pushed like I was the first marriage. So I just stepped back. And I was always told it takes two to argue. So if you arguing and you screaming and I'm not, you look dumb and I'm good because you up there making all the fuss and I'm just looking at you like you're crazy, which wasn't a good
Piss me off
thing.
more.
I know, right?
Y'all brothers for real because
Piss me off more.
No, so
You're gonna force a reaction.
You gotta say something back to me. Yes.
Right. Like, you better talk to me.
Yeah, I'm not argue by myself. I will not. Yeah.
So
That's
so
why
what
you
I have learned,
like you said, you pull it back.
That ain't
you know, so
that
but
ain't right.
but what I have learned since, you know, God is now I talk. You know, because it wasn't always good for me not to say nothing. Because when I don't say nothing, I'm holding everything in anyway. I just don't want to argue, but I'm holding it in, so it's tearing me up in the inside. It's just my face is saying, "I'm just let you talk." So it was good for me to learn how to talk, and that meddled a whole lot of our arguments. Because now that I talk and I'm like, "Look, this is what we need to talk about. Let's sit down and talk." And then, so that was one thing I had to learn was to talk. Like everybody, no, I had to learn to talk.
That's a great point.
To say something, because if you don't, like I said, it was just like, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing. She get mad more. She started screaming more, and I'm just looking at her like, just doing this for what? Like I'm good.
Making me want to pack some cigarettes.
Man, you know, and then I'll leave. You know, my thing was, let me go outside. Let me go. You know, and it was like, okay, let me get away. Then let me come back. But then that didn't help nothing too, because then it was like, where you been? Where you go? I just went outside. I didn't do nothing. I just left. So my whole demeanor has changed with God, and thank God that it didn't done that. I mean, He's been ahead of my life because, like I said, it has just made our marriage so much better with that.
So when you say that, so is that like a guy thing? The leaving?
No, it's
the sitting there being quiet.
No, it's a when you got to deal with KADAYSHA and NAKITA thing.
Okay.
But see, that wasn't a good thing for us because it wasn't, bro. Because him leaving mentally, it put a wedge in between
like
us.
Disregarded. Like when you leave, you know, when you leave, it's like you dismissing my feelings and how I feel.
Exactly.
That's how I used to take it.
That I took it that way too, and it sent me to looking in somebody else's arms. So that it drew a wedge between us, like real quick, and it wasn't something that. It was horrible. Yeah. It was horrible on my behalf.
You know, I think so the good thing is, so we have that to draw on as far as our testimonies, right? But when you look and you see, okay, how carnally minded we were in those situations, we could see exactly how the enemy was using things to get at us, and we had no defense, right? And so now that we got our armor on, we can, cause them things still come, those attacks still happen.
Oh yeah,
but we know how to deal with them now, and we look back and it's like, man, what was we thinking, right? But back then, like, how was I acting? How would I possibly have been in that frame of mind? And there's so many others that's in that right now. You know what I mean? And it's painful to see, but you know, you always got to hope that, look, if we was able to come out of it, you know, through the grace of God, they can too. But without the Spirit in it, you ain't got God in your marriage. I mean, it's marriage can be trauma. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like really bad.
They gotta also want to come out of it. Like when we sat back and looked at a lot of things, it was like, all right, you figure out what you want. It's either me or that, or you know. And I was to the point where I was like, I told you I ain't settling it down with nobody else. I'll be single for the rest of my life. So we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna do this thing together correctly because we're gonna both get our crap together. So we both wanted it. We didn't and couldn't see ourselves with anybody else. So we were both looking at it like, wait a minute, this marriage number 2, it ain't about to be number 3. But it was not only that, but it was the fact that he humbled me. Like, he's my person. Like, he knows how to calm me down. He knows how to make me smile. He knows he knows my trigger points. He knows, well, you know, baby's not a materialistic person. I can go buy her a pair of socks and she copacetic, you know, she good. Or, you know, I can go buy her some Starbucks and she good. I don't have a materialistic wife. I actually have a wife who she inspires me. You know, she want to know my dreams. You know, she don't have a problem with going to my football games or sitting here watching sports with me. So we leveled each other out. So we figured to the point where, okay, well, if this is what we really want, then we're going to get our together.
Right.
And we're gonna make this marriage work.
Right.
Say for better for worse. So we didn't gone through this worse. Now let's make this better. And so we knew our better had to be God.
Right.
So that's what we did. And we got the heck up out of Oklahoma.
But like you're saying though, it was a choice, right? And you had to go seek him. And when we do that, like the word say, he's the rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So if he says that, he says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, all these things will be added, and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. And so once we start focusing on ourselves and what makes us happy, and we focus on him, if she's looking at him and I'm looking at him and we're both drawing to him, then we don't have no choice but to get closer.
At that point.
But,
there you go.
When we first hook up, it's like, all right, I know how I feel and I know what I like. And if you ain't doing what I like, then we got a problem, and vice versa. So we steady looking this way at each other, and then no point that we look up. And so as soon as we like, you know what, that's where it's at. That's where the focus got to be. Everything else will start to align itself the way God wanted to.
And we got married young, so we had to learn that
18.
That, you know, like, you have friends and associates.
Ooh.
Y'all are on a different level than when you say I do and you're married, you're in a whole different field than the friends that are single. You can't do what your single friends do. Your responsibilities and the things that's going on in your household is different. So sometimes you have to, it might sound bad, but you have to cut out the outsiders, get your stuff together. And then, you know, you learn how to mingle with the single people. You learn how to mingle with the friends that's not necessarily on the same path that you're going on. And sometimes when you cut them, they have to stay cut too. Everybody not going to fall back in there like that. And that's what we had to learn too, that, you know, it's some people that we still see right now, and it's kind of like a high and by thing, because that's all it can be. Because like it's not that we're saying we're better than y'all, but we can't do the things, and we're not going to do the things that y'all are still doing and are capable of doing. Because why? Because we're married. You know, we're doing different stuff now. We can't do what y'all are doing. We still love you. You know what I'm saying? There's no bad blood, no nothing like that. It's just we cannot do the same things that y'all are doing. And sometimes you have to cut people. You can still say hi, but some of them have to stay cut also. So we had to learn that too.
Thank
and
you.
I know that
was understand that though, sis. They do not understand that. They think that you think, oh, you better than me. No, it's not that I'm better than you. Our paths are just going this way. And it's even to the day
differently.
Even till this day, like, we still have friends that's in the world that's married that don't understand that we're married to God as well. Like, we're not just married to each other. We're married to God. So what God tell us to do, we're gonna do versus
that's what we're gonna do.
Because we don't enjoy the fleshly things anymore. So if God is telling us, oh, well, you know, going to Oklahoma, you can't say hi to everybody, you can't go spend time with everybody, then that's what we're gonna do. And I told baby the last time, I said I don't want to be around it. Like, and I told my little brother, because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't curse. Thank God. I don't want to be around the drinking and the cursing. And I have a 4-year-old grandson who likes to repeat everything. And he was with us. And one thing I'm not going to do is have him around a whole bunch of stuff because that baby is anointed. And I'm not about to allow these spirits and demons to attach themselves to my grandbaby when we're raising him in a different way. So I told baby, I said, when we go to Oklahoma, if the only people I get to see is my dad and y'all, then
that's what it is.
I don't know what to tell people. Like, and I'm not going to apologize, and I'm not going to apologize for living a righteous life because you still decide that, oh, you like the fleshly life, because Christians are born. We're born, guys.
Yeah, KADAYSHA wasn't even there.
We have
Show was.
Don't do her.
I was at a reunion, right?
Yeah.
I was at a family reunion. Yeah,
but we have a great time without all that worldly mess. Like, you know how much money I save without buying cigarettes, buying blunts, without buying liquor, going to the club. I save so much money, it's crazy. Like we're on a totally different road. We're homeowners now. Like, we wouldn't have been homeowners if we were still in Oklahoma buying drinks and popping bottles because that's where all our money was been going instead of 2-hour mortgage.
Right. And then your mentality changes. Like, your goals become different. It's just things change. And that's why I said I don't mean no harm because I know they'd be like, well, KADAYSHA ain't doing this. And I can still say hi to you and speak to you, but we just in 2 different directions right now. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't. I do not think I'm better than you, but you just have to understand my mentality is just different than yours right now. And the only thing I do, I pray that you get there because I know what it was to be on that other side. That's what I can do. Pray for you. It's no love lost. There's none lost at all.
We still go through trials and tribulations as Christians too.
Right.
We ain't perfect.
Right.
The darkness.
We just know how to handle it better, huh, bro?
Right. Like the darkness can't comprehend the light.
Right.
This is why it don't make no sense to them. Because at one point it didn't make no sense to us.
That's right.
When you with that darkness and you see that light, I don't want all that.
You don't want to hear it.
You know what I mean? That's why you stay in the darkness because you know that lifestyle, that's what it takes so that you can stay in that life of sin. But it ain't on us to force them out of it. We can show you better than we can tell you. You know what I mean? But we can offer you Christ, but that's a choice that you're gonna have to make. Yep. And we can't make that for you. I will just tell you it's a lot better on this side. We on the winning side. We know how this story ends, right? Well, we know how that story ends too, though. But but that's still a choice. Everybody got free will, and I mean, I thank God that He afforded us the grace to stick around long enough to make the choice.
Amen.
Because we could have been dissolved a long time ago. You know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful for it, and so I definitely wouldn't want to jeopardize, what He's blessed me to maintain. You know what I mean? Amen. Now my job is to be a good steward over what He's allowed me to have. My wife, kids, right? Because ultimately we all belong to Him. We just borrow for a period of time. You know what I mean? And so if this is who He said, look, I want you to go experience life, kingdom living with this spouse and these kids, man, I thank God for that. But it's just a matter of how you see it. And so when you start to see things spiritually, man, it makes sense. But things in the spirit only make sense to the people in the spirit. You know what I mean? So we can have this conversation. We know exactly where we've been, where we've been got out of, where we headed. But some people can look at this conversation and be like, yo, they a bunch of stiffs, they a bunch of squares. And like you said, life is boring. And I mean, life has been way better now than it's ever been. You know what I mean? So, I mean, even musically, like we've done so much more now than prior. You know what I mean? And these are just doors that God is opening, and networks and connections that God is presenting us with, and then other kingdom folk. You know what I mean? So when you just kingdom living on earth, like that's what He's saying in prayer, right? As it is in heaven, right? On earth as it is in heaven. When we live like that, man, we don't gotta wait till the by and by to experience the kingdom. He wants us to do that now. It's up to us to do that. And so even this is a kingdom conversation. This is a kingdom podcast, right? We rich in the spirit. That's a plug. Hey, look, I ain't gonna charge you for that. we rich in the spirit, though. You know what I mean? Like that's kingdom, man. That's what it's about. And man, I just hope that the joy that we have, the light that's in us, will reverberate to the point where, man, everybody just kind of gravitates to it, right? 'Cause all we doing is lifting up the King. And like he say, if we lift him up, you know, he'll do the drawing. He'll draw all men unto him. So that's what we doing, man, by way of the podcast, by way of just how we live. Like, this ain't something that we just come on for an hour to talk about, and then as soon as we, you know, we hit in, then we go back to living like heathens. Right? Like, this is who we are. This isn't an act. This isn't something that we put on. Like that, we say that's why we don't perform. We minister. This is a lifestyle. This is who we are.
We don't wear costumes.
There ain't no, you know, well, you know, I put on this hat for this occasion and I put on another hat for another occasion. Like, no.
Yeah.
This is who God is wanting me to be. So I don't look at the titles and well, you minister O or minister Ty or minister however minister you want to put it on Sundays or at Bible study on Tuesday, but then, you know, he just tired during the week. Like, this same person.
Yeah.
Which, so what you're gonna get in church, you're gonna get on this podcast, you're gonna get in the house. And it's up to not me to say it, but the people around us, right? Like, we can always tell people what we want them to think about us. But what do other people say about you? That's your witness. It ain't what we say, because people can say whatever they want to say. It's false witness.
Say I am.
You know what I mean? So what do people say about you when you're out of the limelight? That's your real testimony.
So I have a question. We both do music. We both have lives that have other lives. So how do we mix our ministry or what we do and not neglect our wives?
So great point. Great question.
That's a great question. Let me turn.
I know what the answer is, but the execution.
I do some prayer after this conversation.
The execution is where we got to get better at, because like how you said it, right? Our ministry versus their lives, that can't exist, right? Because once we became married, the two became one flesh. So if there is no your ministry versus her life anymore, or vice versa, my ministry versus Daysha's life, so we won. My ministry is her ministry. Her life is my life. So now we just got to be mindful of that. I can't devote more time to what I want to do and neglect her, because how she feels matters. Same thing with her. She can't be like, well, my feelings matter so much that if God is calling him to do this, I'm gonna be a hindrance, right? So we got to work together. Like Keita said, she pushes you, right? You share your dreams with her. She encourages you. She inspires you. Like that. That's the oneness. It can't be like, man, why he always got something going on, and I just want him to sit at home with me, and you know, we just gonna watch TV together.
But sometimes it do feel like that. Sometimes it do feel like that. It's like, I think he gets so excited and overjoyed that I think he be forgetting about me. Hey, you got a wife. Hey,
that's our brother.
You know, cooking, and you know, hey, like, I'm downstairs for 5-6 hours. I'm like, you know, like, what
the execution though, right?
You know,
like,
so I think they just get so consumed in it that sometimes I flick the lights. I get to flicking. Hey, I'm downstairs.
Check it out though, right? Check it out, because if me and Travell were just sitting on our butt not doing nothing, that'd be a problem too, right? So you can't be like, man, they work too much. They go too hard.
But if y'all just sitting around doing that, we probably sitting with you. So then it ain't gonna be too much. But y'all be in the zone, bro. Y'all be in the zone for real. Like Sis said, it be like 5-6 hours. And then baby brings his to bed for the next hour. And I'm like,
yes.
I text him, y'all. I text y'all brother and said, can you beat my back in tonight? Like, can you get off the phone?
At least you get that kind of text.
Baby,
I'm not giving that text. I'm going to sleep. You're not sitting upstairs for 6 hours and then gonna think it's all good.
Like, no, you should have been down at 9. Like,
I'm going to
I get an attitude. Like, it's 7 days out of a week. I needed at least 5. I'm gonna have an attitude. What is your issue?
Well, I feel that you enjoying upstairs so much. Hey, Go ahead and enjoy it. You like to be alone, apparently.
She's vindictive, like, so no, that ain't.
I used to be like that. I would roll over real quick and be like, you better stay on your side. Don't come over here, sir. I used to be, but I had to stop that real quick because, baby, I was, nah.
Well, that's something I still got to work on.
I'm going to need your people to get where her people did.
Yeah, because I'm just like,
I'm going to send you my first lady and my pastor, baby.
Don't roll up on me.
All right, soon as we get off, I'm going to need your people to get where her people.
We went to marriage counseling, and I told them, don't touch me. And she'd be like, daughter, you can't withhold sex from my son. Yes, I can. It's mine. What you mean? Like,
you know what, though? But you're so right, because we don't belong. Like, we are not our own anymore. So for you to withhold, just like it's not for you to withhold, it ain't for me to withhold either. So once we became one, we gave that up. But like you say, you learned it in counseling. Most of us don't go to counseling, or we don't get exposed to that type of knowledge, because that's what can make or break a marriage. When we feel like we can withhold, and then you do that, then there is no oneness in being withholding whatever it is that you want to withhold. So we turn that into a tool. And if you weaponize, because sex is just one thing you can weaponize. You can weaponize all kinds of things, like, oh, I ain't gonna cook, or I ain't gonna clean, or I ain't gonna do whatever. You start putting quid pro quos in the marriage, and it'll be nothing but problems. So yes, I don't feel like it, but the covenant says, I gotta do my duties. I'm gonna need your people to.
Well, I'm like a bank. You better become a business hours. You know,
I had to sit because it was a point where we was both kind of sort of withholding, and we was sending each other to somebody else. So I had to stop because I was ready to beat a couple of folk up. I almost caught a charge once before because I jumped out the car and had to put hands on somebody. Like, girl, don't play with me. Like,
but
y'all already know what we done been through. Y'all already know.
That's the door that open.
I was wrong though, because I wasn't giving it to him, so he went and found it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We was in the world. We was in the world.
She got beat up for giving it to him. The enemy
will open them doors if we allow that. and then one thing turns into the next thing, and then we start having problems that only existed because of something little that we didn't address. And so that little thing became big, and then all of a sudden, now I think that hole is gaping.
Because a lot of our problem was communication, and then like he's a people person. So I like in the past I had always felt like he didn't want to disappoint other people, but it was okay to disappoint me, and that's where a lot of our problems came from. But I wasn't expressing that to him the right way. I would get upset, and then then it's on. So I had to learn to express to him like, hey, I don't like how you making me feel right now. Yeah. So you need to take that into consideration. And even like now, I could tell him like, I don't like what you said. I don't like how you said that because this is how I took it. So we have to communicate it, because I'm telling you, communication was one of our biggest problems. And then that came with, okay, well, we're not communicating. So what he do? He walking out the house. That's making it worse, like you said. So communication, I always tell people, I was talking to a girl the other day and she was asking me a question. I was like, well, did you tell him exactly how you felt? She was like, well, I was trying to, but how did you tell him? Because you have to be careful how you say it too.
That delivery.
You can't want somebody to listen to you and yelling at them. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Say that one more time. This is recording, right?
Say what part?
You can't be yelling and
well, we've been married long enough. You know when I'm upset, and see, you know when I'm talking loud.
And here's the other thing.
I'm talking loud.
Like she likes to do this. Well, this is what the rules are, but the rules don't apply to her. That don't work. It can't be. There's KADAYSHA's way, and then there's the way that everybody else got to deal with.
What you think?
I'm lying. You just said it. Like you literally just said it.
Look.
Well, you know how it is when I raise. But you just said you told the homie not to be raising their voice, because how you say it matters.
See, arguing and talking loud is two different things. Sometimes I'm gonna use your word, okay? When he get loud, he being passionate. So I'm being passionate when I talk. I'm passionate.
I speak with volume anyway.
I was about to say, I'm just naturally loud though.
I'm just being passionate when I talk.
I be trying to press points sometimes.
Me too. Me too.
But I fight fair. Say me too on that. See, she don't like to fight fair. See, sometimes for her, it's about winning. And I'm like, look, man, we're not enemies. There's no competition here. We on the same team. Sometimes I think, she'll look at me like I'm the adversary. She got to get a leg up on me. And I'm like, look, we're not competing with each other. Otherwise, we won't get nowhere. And so sometimes I'll just back out of it. You know what I mean? I'll do my best to rebel.
And that's honestly, that's a true statement, because it's hard being married to a minister. It's hard because, sometimes it's like you're trying to express yourself to him, but it's almost like he trying to preach to you a sermon. I'm not trying to hear no sermon. And I tell him sometimes, but hey, I'm not the congregation. I'm your wife. I need for you to talk to me as a husband and wife conversation. We're not the congregation. So that is a true statement. So sometimes I be trying to hold stuff in my back pocket so I can have one up on him for real. And I mean, it's not right, but because I just be like, hey, I'm just like, I'm not. He's very, I'm gonna use your word, he's very passionate for his stuff.
Right, but see, here's where the miscommunication is. She said, I'm not trying to preach to you.
It comes off like that.
But if it's a preaching, if you want to say preaching, it's to us. It's just like in a pulpit. I'm not preaching to people because the same stuff that I'm saying applies to me too. Like I'm not excluded what I'm saying. And I think you feel like I'm attacking you. Like I'm saying it like this is thus says Ty. No, Ty don't have a dog in the fight. So if I'm bringing you words, I'm bringing you scripture. This is what that say the Lord. Mm-hmm. And so if he's the head, then I don't have an argument. And whatever argument you have, take it up with the master. Don't take it up with me. So if you don't like what I'm saying, and what all I'm doing is saying what he said, then your plot isn't with me. But then you try to turn it into a you versus me thing so that you can finally feel vindicated in the argument. And I'm like, man, I don't want to argue. This is why I go to the word. But then you think every time I go to the word, I'm trying to preach at you. And I'm not. I'm just saying, look, this is what God says how we should deal with the situation. But you don't, because it's me, and you do have something against me, whatever it is. I know you still got something that is like when I talk, she ain't trying to hear it. I can go talk to everybody else and get results and people listen and we can conversate. Well, how come you talk to everybody else, but you can't talk to me like that? And I'm like, because you're not trying to receive nothing I'm trying to say. And so that be like, that's still kind of some of the stuff that we be battling now, even after 24 years. But I say that go back to strongholds, right? That go back to past trauma that's not been dealt with. That's like, look, I know you and I hear what you're saying, but that ain't who you really are. Like I'm not believing this new Ty. I don't believe it because I know the real Ty. That's the old Ty. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes it come off like, well, I want to fight that guy because that guy still affects me now because I haven't dealt with the hurt that guy caused. You see what I'm saying? And so this new guy can miss me right now because he seemed fake to me. That dude that caused me hurt, I know him. And that's what I want to get at. And I'm like, oh, we 2024. Okay. We can't go back to 2015, 2012, 2008. You know what I mean? And so that's where I feel like we miss each other. So I could help the situation, but I can't if everything that I say, it falls on deaf ears. Not saying that I got all the answers. Once again, this ain't coming from me. My job is to study, right? And so I study, right? Study to show yourself to prove, right? A workman that need not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. So if I can rightfully divide the word of truth because of how much I study, then I could be a workman that need not be ashamed. But I'm still a workman. This isn't Ty coming in Ty's strength or capacity. This is Ty saying, look, my job is to say, whatever issues that we got, if I'm following Christ, I'm submitted to him. My job is to say, God, what is it that you want me to do in this situation? That's just how we need to do this. But then they was like, no, Ty, this is what you saying, and I don't want to go with what you say because right now you getting on my nerves. And then we be like,
why you throwing me out there like that?
I said this is what the battle be though. This is real talk. This is real talk. And like and prayerfully, like I'm just being transparent, right? Because look, I don't know who's watching now or in the future that may hear this and like, you know what, I hear what you're saying because we kind of have a similar situation.
Yeah.
And I would exhort people to realize, look, and if we are weaponizing the word, we shouldn't. Because there was a point in time where when I was fresh and I'm learning and I'm like, I'm trying to throw everything at that shit. And I found out, you know, someone told me like that's not what that is for. Your job isn't to try to throw scripture as a weapon, but you can use scripture to help situations based on what the word is saying. And that came with, I was spiritually immature as I was growing, right? Just like it say, when the disciples received the Holy Spirit, the disciples had to wait to receive the Spirit before they could go out and do work. It wasn't like, okay, because y'all been walking with Christ, y'all could go do what he's doing, right? It was like, no, wait on that Holy Spirit. And so you could know the word, but if the Spirit ain't moving in you to where he tells you and gives you the wisdom on how to execute the word properly, then you can cause problems. And a lot of people do that. They'll have a lot of knowledge of what the word says, but they use it incorrectly. And I used to do that early on. And so I had to learn that, but I by no means do that now.
So how do y'all deal with like, because I know one of y'all talk more than the other, right? So how do you deal with like when you have like your spouse? Because I know we're not the only one that like they talk that after a while you just like, okay, because it's like they're saying what they're saying and they're gonna keep saying it, and it's like they're not hearing you. How do y'all handle that situation without making it like a big situation?
I can read my husband's facial expressions pretty well.
What he's saying, what he's thinking right now.
Like just now, that's how we saying about leaving stuff in the past and not. I felt that. That's why I was, I felt that because I did that to a baby a lot, and it probably just recently stopped. But I did that to him a lot. I brought up a whole lot, like Ty said. That guy in the past hurt me. So what makes you think you changed? Like, but I can read his facial expressions pretty well. Excuse me. So when I see that he more or less like, you done yet? I'd be like, okay, babe, what do you want to add to this? Like, what did you hear, and what do you need to add to this so we can figure it out? So that's how I go about it. But babe's not a talker, so he's gonna be like,
it seems like in a marriage, one person, it's always you're always gonna have a talker, and then one that's kind of like, because sometimes I be hating to ask Ty stuff or sometimes stuff be bothering me, and I don't even want to say something because I'm like, this could be like a 10-minute fix, but this gonna be about an hour right here fooling with Ty. I'm gonna just go ahead and just let this go.
What she don't understand is I like to listen too, but I like to conversate. So I like to ask questions that will provoke a conversation.
Yeah.
Not just where you can hear me talking and when I ask you something, but then you don't want to answer because you don't want to get in the conversation because you think I'm trying to set up the stage for us to have a debate. And I'm like, no, I want to know your thoughts. So you tell me. But then you don't want to have no input. And then I'm supposed to read your mind.
Be an hour.
I'm supposed to read your mind. How you putting it? Well, why you got to put a time limit on stuff, right? Like, speaking of time limits, right? So just like she's saying, right? Why it got to take an hour, not just 10 minutes? I'm like, if things don't go on her time, or I don't pick up on a sign in the allotted time that she's giving me, it's a problem. And I'm like, how can that be? Like, man, if it don't go the way they should want it, they should go let you know. And I'm like, I can't read your mind.
But am I not?
But it's my job. What do you mean?
Am I not supposed to let you know when I'm not happy? If I'm unhappy, I'm supposed to let you know.
But I'm saying you be mad because of the timing. And I'm like, yo, everything ain't gonna be on your timing though. Right?
That's right.
Right.
I'm not saying it
Why
has
you
to
get
be,
mad though when I don't figure out things as quick as you would like me to?
because some stuff be right there in your face. I'm like, how can you miss it? I mean, like the
Well,
flag
he missed it.
waving, and it's like you're just like,
See, that's
no.
why I get into the debate of common sense. And I'm like, I don't like the whole common sense thing, because common to you ain't common to me. So where do we draw the line on common sense?
I don't know, babe. Sometimes like the flags, the red flag can come. I mean, hit you in your
There
head.
be
And
there
you
be
just like,
there be flags. There be flags. I'll be flying in the bedroom. Where's the common sense then?
and don't stay up here to.
So where's the common sense? And every time I shut down early,
I cannot with
no results, right? So I'm like, where the common sense then?
I ain't fooling with y'all, brother. I am not.
Man,
Well, I love
like,
that show. We
the
already
struggle
heard.
is real.
Somebody already said we need a part 2 to this.
Part two.
The
part
struggle
two.
is real.
It's gonna be a
I
part
think
2.
part 2 should start at 6.
Yeah.
We don't get off until 5:30. I mean,
There's a lot
I'll
of
be
stuff on
rushing
your
in.
chest. You need to get
Hey,
off.
hey, look, this is counseling right here. This is counseling.
Man. And then next time we'll probably have another married couple that's went on here this time. So each time it's gonna grow. I don't know how many couples, but it's gonna be different couples and grow. I think this is very needed.
It is.
Because even at my church we have
Marriage Everlasting.
Marriage Everlasting, where we come together, the marriage couples. I'm sorry, I was reading.
I'm about to say, baby.
I was reading. I was trying to see what she said. What Uncle Tom said about the.
I said, I like to
What comment are you talking about, Nate? But we have it, and it was like we have it like every 3 months or every 4 months, where the married couples. Well, it's not. It's married couples, singles, but it's
widows,
our pastor who gives it, and they give us great jewels. And the last one was called. What was the last one called?
It's not what you think, or something, or what? It was something.
It was something about that you would have thought it had something to do with
sex.
With sex,
but it didn't.
It was like what love got to do with it, or love is everything, but something like that. But that is not what you think.
Have to go look for it.
And
I think that's good.
They did it where it's more to a marriage than sex.
Oh yeah.
So where's the
without sex, man?
Where is and they told you like one of my questions, but we'll probably do it on the next time, is do married couples still date?
That's good.
So we still got to have the fun in our marriage. We still got to do the things that, I ain't gonna say all the things, but do the things that made us want to marry each other. Because now our life is different.
But you know why a lot of us stop, right? Because them kids we let get in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but I think it's to the point where we still look at it like, well, I got him now. But you can't think like that. You have to
take it.
You still got to dress up. You still got to comb your hair. You may not wear makeup, but put on some lip gloss so your lips look enticing to him. So when he come past you, he like, "Ooh, girl, giving him." It's still got to be to the point where you are doing what you need to do to. Yes, we do still date. Yes, we do. You always in our back pocket with us. We still date. We still got to do those things that. What attracted him to us, because I find myself sitting in the bathroom like, all right, what am I put on the day to make him look twice, like make him break his neck? Like, I think about this stuff all the time, because
Chase playing the keys, looking at her like, who's that down there?
I've gained a lot of weight met me. Like, I'm not the 150 pounds that Travell met back in 2000 and whatever. I didn't put on some little midgets, but I still got to be able to dress or just make sure he looking only my way and nobody else way, because I'm trying not to dot no eyes, like not anybody's eyes on their face, just on the paper. but yeah, it's called Marriage Everlasting, Let's Make Love. P.S. is not what you think.
Yeah, it's called Let's Make Love.
It wasn't recorded.
It's recorded?
It wasn't. But I know the next one, it should be recorded. As a matter of fact, I got it recorded. So whenever they plan the next one, it will be live.
Okay.
Did you record this one? No, okay.
And we're due for another one because that one was the last one was in March. So.
Yeah, they've been married for 40 years.
Is it 40?
Something like that.
I've seen a lot of older couples that have been married for a while that you would just never tell. You never know they were married.
Yeah.
Birthday on the same day. Like, who gets married to the person that your birthday is on the same day? That's how you know you was destined to be.
Like, they two different people though. Like, she's more or less like me, and well, as far as the firecrackiness, and our pastor is more like, babe, he's quiet, but when he gets you, he gonna get you. It's gonna bite. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, excuse me, y'all.
But yeah.
So do y'all think opposites attract?
Yes. Yes.
I think it's balance.
It is because I'm loud, short, mouthy.
I'm tall, quiet.
Quiet, yes. Tall, baby, no.
we as tall as we feel.
I'm pretty much.
You might drink the water, so that's all that matters. You might tall glass of water.
I'm quiet. I'm feisty, but I'm the quiet one out of us. Believe it or not. I mean, I might be feisty, but yeah, I'm more the quiet one. I just kind of like to sit back and kind of watch and read people, and Ty is just kind of like.
If it comes to, all right, I need someone to give a presentation, I got you. She ain't gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody do something where they don't want to give us no refund at the store. She all for that. She all for that, and I'm all trying to be nice. Oh well, you know, she's like, nah, we're beating around the bush. Just jump right into it. So she the pit bull, and I'm be like, I'm more passive aggressive when it comes to that type of stuff. But I'm still I'm the outspoken one, where she's more the reserved one. So that's kind of how we kind of fit.
See, that's baby. He was more reserved. You know, I was brought up in the hood. I had to, you know, be able to. And see, I'm a people person. As far as watching people, I can read the room real good. I know. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's how I was brought up in DC, though, being able to read things without somebody actually knowing that I'm reading them. I ain't had no other choice. That's how we survived. If not, then you might not make it. But yeah, baby's the quiet one. It takes a lot for his water to boil over for you to see the side of travail that don't nobody want to see.
Yeah.
But it take about that much for me. Like,
yeah, and that's how it is with Ty, because sometimes I be looking like, hey, you need to, and he ain't jumping. I'm like,
right, like
I would have did that like 10 minutes ago. That would happen with me. But yeah.
But yeah, so I really appreciate y'all for coming on this show. Just sharing, you know, a part of y'all testimonies. We're gonna get more into it the next time. Because like we know a lot about each other when we was there. You know, like I said, me and Ty, I was their DJ, so we in the world, and I'm his DJ now, but you know, in God. So we want to take and give people the truth. Because I'm not afraid to tell them, like, I was out there, you know, and what God has brought us from, I'm pretty sure it'll help somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is just the beginning. We're gonna do it maybe in November again. You know, we'll probably do it every other month or something like that, and try to add more people, younger couples who can give us some insight of the younger couples. You know, so maybe some other couples. I might try to get my pastor on here. You know, to come and just give us some insight, give the world some insight of how to live as a married couple. And they got jewels and drops and everything that are just, if you don't, the little things that people don't think about, they'll be like, that's what you should do. And you'll be like, okay. And then it drops like, yeah, if I would have been doing that all this time, then, you know, maybe. But like I said, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody who jumped in the comments, everybody who came through, everybody who said something, who's gonna watch it later on a replay. I love y'all. Do y'all have anything to say? Matter of fact, next week I'm gonna have Ace Johnson on here. He's a promoter, and he's gonna be talking about his artists on here next week. Next week is also my birthday.
Okay.
I got something I want to say, babe. To elaborate on something Ty said earlier, he said, how we were all in the world and things being brought out better, how we are experiencing better, because we see God now first. I remember being in the world and being at a house that we was at all times. You were an artist long before I met you. And I remember how you struggled to write. You struggled to put your beats together when you was in the world. But as soon as you started seeking God first and more, your stuff flow. Like I hear you in your studio when I'm in the room or when I'm in the bling room. I hear you and your lyrics flow with no problem versus when you was in the world. You were struggling to write a song. But now, I hear you in there getting excited, and it's not so much as you writing it down, but it's off the top of your head. Like God is giving you a fresher revelation since you seek Him first now. So that's a part of what Ty was talking about, and I just thought about that, and I was like, man, but yeah, your struggle, you don't have a struggle anymore with being able to do what you need to do because you're doing it for God. Because even though it was already in you, God put you on hold because He was like, nah, you ain't gonna use my talents, what I gave you for the world. But when you're ready for me, then and it's flowing.
Take it to a whole nother level. And that's in beat making and production too.
Right.
Yep. He produced like 90% of the Better Late Than Never album. I was like, man, and see a lot of the beats he sent me, he got a name on the beat. And a lot of that I'm rocking with because I could hear the title and the beat, and it's all scripturally based. So I'm like, yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying, Kida. Yeah. He man, I mean, even just what he's done for Inspirational Substance and Anomaly Records. I mean, you see with the podcast, I mean, all of these networks we connected with. I mean, we on digital radio stations, all kind of stuff now that we wasn't on 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he asked it. He didn't just come in dragging his feet saying he wanted to be a part of something. Like, no, he came in contributing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not satisfied, right? He don't get complacent. He always pushing towards something else. So yeah, I definitely appreciate what you're doing. And you're saying all of these things will be added, right? Because you seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. So
they have evolved. They really have. They have evolved. Because even like what you just said, I know people be out there looking at me crazy when he's out there and he's ministering his song, and I'm out there and I feel like I'm the hype man. I got the ad lib, I got all that.
You want a couple hooks?
Yeah, I'm hyping it up, and I know they probably like, this girl is crazy. But what they have to understand was when he was on the other side, I was trying to be the hype man for some nonsense that he was talking about and stuff he ain't got no business talking about. And I'm up there, cussing and hooping and hollering too. So now that he's on the other side, am I supposed to be quiet?
Exactly.
No, I should be just as loud now being a hype man as I was before.
That's
so
right.
What you saying that, I mean, that is so true. And even with you, Terrell, I mean, yeah, we was in the club together, y'all. So, to see what it is now, I mean, it really do put a smile. It put a smile on my face because I mean, we was just so wrong. We really was. It really was.
But we've always been chosen though, right? We just hadn't accepted the call. And now that we have, man. Yeah. And we seeing what God doing with us. And He could have been done did it with us, but hey, it's not our will but His will. And hey, better late than never, right? Some people never find out, never accept it, or they assume they got all the time in the world and they don't. I just think
not at all.
Allowed us to have, enough time to even do what we're doing right now.
Yeah. True.
I mean, because it's funny, because I was listening to Help My Faith, and I remember how much I struggled, and that was just a hook. It's when I first got my iPad, and I did that beat on my iPad, first starting school, on my iPad, in the bathroom with the door shut, because I didn't want nobody else to hear. Like, and I said at the time, like, Ty, this is what I hear. Because I think I sent him the beat and the hook all together.
Yeah.
It was like, this is what I hear. And then from there, it was like, well, all I can do is write hooks. And then Ty was like, nah, just stick with it. And this is before I even thought about being an artist. I was just going to do music and do hooks, and that was it. And then somehow I came up with the album that I was like, look, I'm only going to do 8 bars on each song, or don't do nothing. I'm going to just get all my friends, all my family to do my album, to doing whole albums now by myself. Well, it's not by myself, it's with God, but I'm hearing, but like I said, and people, if they look at me, I look up to Ty, even though he's younger than me. Because the simple fact that when I felt like I didn't have nobody else to talk to, Ty was there. When I felt like everybody left me, Ty was there. And I'm like, I can always look up to him. Hey, Ty, look, my voice is like this, my voice is like that. I can't get a rhyme to rhyme right. I mean, this is about 6 months ago. I'm like, I don't know how my album gonna come out. He was like, man, just stick with it and pray. Stick with it and pray. He's like, you gonna get this. And I'm like, and then it seemed like overnight, it just hit me. And then I told Ty, like, we got a little chat. I'm like, it's from prayer and keep going like Ty wanted me to do. And I just want to, on here, on live with everybody. There are millions and millions of people who's watching this. And that's going to watch this. I want to say thank you to Ty. Like,
I'm going to deflect all of that to God, man. All glory to God, man. I thank God that he placed on me to be receptive to it. You know what I mean? Because we will, coming from a secular world and how you hear how things sound, and you want things to be all nice and polished. And I'm like, nah, man, God can use a lot with a little, and it's all about the anointing. And so I think a lot of times we focus so much on talent that we miss out on anointing. Mm-hmm. And I know you're anointed, because even when you first, we started talking about, collaborating. I mean, I just felt it in my spirit, and you was persistent. You send stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're gonna work with this. Yeah, okay, I can work with. And next thing I know, it was like 10 tracks deep. And I'm like, oh yeah, we got something, man. We got something. And then when you start getting on the mic, I'm like, all right, cool. So work on this right here. All right, chop that up right there. You know what I'm saying? But you kept at it, right? So it wasn't one of those things where it was just a smooth transition and it was just smooth sailing. But you could tell you put in the work. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think that what we do is easy, and it's something that you either got or you don't have. When your work ethic speaks volumes, right? Because faith without works is dead. So you was already believing what you could do, and you put works behind that. So you got in the booth, you went to school, you know what I'm saying? You did the necessary things for you to be equipped to do what God has called you to do, right? It's just like being a minister or preaching. It ain't just, oh, I received a call, so I'm just going to step in the pulpit and he's just going to give me revelation, and then all of a sudden I just have it. I don't know about all that, at least not for me, right? That's why he gave us a constitution to study. So now it's like, okay, I gotta learn. I gotta perfect my craft. Mm-hmm. Just because I accepted the call don't mean there ain't no work that's involved. You know what I mean? Even like I told you how I was working on the drums now, I'm like, that don't mean like just because I feel like, I want to help out with the drums, God gonna bless me to get on the drums, that I just get on the kit and all of a sudden I feel like, no, I'm in here with the look. I got it right in here. You know what I'm saying? Look, in here getting the work in, because everything that we do it as we do it under God. And so I'm not trying to come up there and be, Rudy Poo. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I got the sticks, but I sound like Poo. No, because I'm playing for him. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna perfect other things. Then I need to be, as best as I could be for him, which means I got to put in the work. And like that come back to what you do. You put in the work. I mean, look at this. I remember the first one we did as the label. And I mean, I done seen all of the podcasts since then. You know what I'm saying? How you getting the interviews going. You know, I've seen the progression from your first interview to now. You know what I'm saying? And it's a process. Just like sanctification is a process. It ain't something that we just have and then we get to a pinnacle and we don't ever learn. You're not afraid to learn. You're not afraid to explore. And you have a crazy faith. That's what allows you to say, okay, as I feel it and I'm being led, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't have to wait for approval. A lot of times we wait on approval. Am I good enough? Can I do this? Because man, they gonna always see your dream, right? And we got to be careful about sharing our dreams, right? And even though we are one, if God gave me something that He didn't give to her, I got to be mindful of that, and I can't allow because she don't see what God is leading me to do to be a hindrance. You see what I'm saying? So God has got to give me the discernment to know when to open up and say, hey, this is what I got going on. He knows we're one, so it ain't gonna never be something that I do and I just do on my own. We're gonna have to be in union to do it, but it's got to be in His time and not mine. You see what I'm saying? And so just, man, putting all of that stuff together, and the more you know, the more you learn, sky's the limit. I mean, He can do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can hope or even think. So, I mean, think about it. We just go for what our finite minds think, right? Even though our thoughts come from Him, right? But still, there's things that we haven't even thought of yet that He gonna open doors for us to do. And that's just who He is. I'm like, how you not just have joy off of that? I didn't care less about happiness and sadness. I'm so been done with that roller coaster. I ain't got nothing but joy. Period. Ain't nothing you could do because the world didn't get it. The world can't take it. That stuff started making sense. You know what I mean? Like you heard it, you were familiar with it, but you ain't feel it. And I'm telling you, when He get in you and that spirit get to flowing, ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like that. I'm talking about you. I used to smoke good weed. I ain't never been this high, and this a whole.
Oh yes.
And this you can tap it anytime, and you don't come down. I mean, you just stay.
And you ain't have to spend a lot of money on it.
It's free,
man.
Free. You got a free high.
You better get in that word.
A free high.
Get in that word, and it will help you with everything. And as soon as I decided, look, I need to align myself with Him. Everything, my kids start working out, my marriage, everything else start working out. But when I was out of place, chaos.
It's a different type of J.
Chaos.
Different type of J. Jesus.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
You're right. And the Bible not blunt.
Oh yes.
We're gonna have to make a song, y'all.
I'm still trying to draw off your courage, Lady K, because let my husband tell it. I can sing, but I feel like with all the smoking and the drinking I did, no, I'm good on that.
Look, I give her the lyrics. I give her the song.
Know what that is, right?
And she never come in the booth. Like, I'm like, are you coming? And and this is something I got to work on is being impatient. Like, if I give you a song, I want it because I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do it.
I mean, and they got 1,000,001 excuses. 1,000,001 excuses. And then I don't get excuse.
No I don't get nothing. I just get like she forgot or something. And I'm like,
I do be forgetting, baby. I got a million things on my mind.
3 weeks ago, I gave you this song and you didn't even you sung it to yourself once because I was in there. And I'm like, but that's her and my daughter. Like I would give them songs.
He want me to sing it when he want me to sing. Give me a minute. Can I marinate on it?
But what's a minute though, right? Like, come on, man. What's a minute?
I guess they like Jesus,
6 months down the road, you just now ready?
Now, some stuff he'll give me and he'd be like, go on the booth and I'll go in there and do it and knock it out. But I have to like it. If I'm not feeling it, then give me a minute because maybe I need to tweak or do something.
I'm gonna need you to feel it.
But see what
I'm gonna need you to feel it.
That's my thing, baby. But I got a million things on my mind. I got this big old business that I'm trying to conquer and elevate. Plus your kids, and it's chaotic. I'm still learning how to manage my time with everything that I got going on. Because the kids don't come to daddy and say, daddy, 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 daddy.
Ooh, that's y'all fault.
Right.
We gonna end on that note. That's gonna be the next one.
Blame Eve. Blame Eve.
Wait a minute, bro. How is it my fault?
Like I said,
Daddy don't
No,
know
because-
what to talk.
Because
That's
he
apparently
like, ask your mama, go to your mama.
I want to thank y'all for coming. I love y'all.
Look, anything I say, she gonna rebut anyway. So just go to the sheriff now. Why go to the deputy when you got the sheriff?
Man, I love y'all. Everybody have a
Love you
blessed
too.
and
Love
wonderful
you too.
day.
Yes,
Who's
sir.
that, Nate? Look, with her funny self. I'm glad my daughter stayed on here with us all this time. Usually she be
look
asleep
at her
by now.
commenting.
But so next week, like I said, I have a promoter on here. But so Anomaly Records got a lot coming out. Let me throw that out there. Got to throw the plugs.
Yeah.
We got Mike, who's dropping his album. Where's the EP?
Yep. So Jesus Died For Me album comes out September 1st. The I Never Knew You video dropped today. And then the continuation, Choose This Day, which is the second part of that series, is going to come out sometime in November. We also got Anointed, who has a song coming out on the 5th called
Walk With Me or Walk by Faith.
Walk
By Faith.
No, Walk by Faith. Yeah, Walk by Faith. So him and Hydration, the two newest members. Hydration has a track coming out called On My Own. I'm a feature on there, and that's gonna drop sometime in September as well. I got a track, Loyalty, featuring Lost and Found and Signs, that's gonna come out probably towards the end of September, if not sometime in October. You and Spiritual J got the track that's coming out
on my birthday.
And that one is called
Jesus Is Coming Back.
Jesus Is Coming. I mean, that's the fire track.
It's
So
nice,
like,
yeah.
I enjoyed putting the tags on that. That was nice.
And
look, I just want to say what we were just talking about, the progression, man. Like
Spiritual J got one coming out on the 6th called Real Motion.
Yes.
So this first week of September, we're firing it up.
Yeah.
The Lord has blessed us. So
yeah, everybody got something.
And you had one that just dropped right before.
Oh, I follow. Yeah, with
Follow.
Cletus. Yeah, that came out on the 24th. Yeah, that's a nice one too.
Everybody, y'all need to go to the website. Y'all need to go to the YouTube page, watch the videos, support our music. Just support the ministry as a whole, and pray for us so we can get better. And we also, September the 14th, we will be at Grand Prairie at the Gospel Explosion in Grand Prairie, starting at 5 o'clock at the Epic Park. So we will be there. It'll be me, O.N.E, and Spiritual J. So I need to come out there and have a good time with us.
J coming too?
Yes, Spiritual J is coming too. So, like I said, everybody have a blessed day. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all next week.
No, you won't. You gonna talk to Tasha tomorrow.